Hi there, this is Kat from Audiaire, and today I'm going to be showing you a brief tutorial on how to use our latest effects plugin, NUXX. NUXX is a multi-effects processor designed to work as an insert effect on any track of your choosing. If you're familiar with our synthesizer VST zone, then you may recognize some of the features such as the lanes, the global lane sequencer, macros and more. But there are also quite a few differences, so let's get started. Firstly, you'll need to open NUXX as an audio insert effect in your DAW. If you don't see NUXX, try scanning the folder to which you installed it. Scanning settings can often be found in Preferences, but check your DAW's menu to be sure. Once NUXX is loaded, we can begin to explore the effects options. If you weren't already aware, NUXX features 6 macro dials along with the global lane sequencer and lanes. Each macro can have any number of effects parameters assigned to it from a total of 30. These macros can then be sequenced on a grid, with each macro having its own lane. Before we get into more detail about the lanes, I want to explore the functionality throughout NUXX's user interface. If we begin in the macro section, you will notice a sequencer panel next to the macros. Click this if you wish to close the sequencer lanes. Doing so allows NUXX to run as a simple 6-knob multi-effects unit. Each macro dial will automatically be assigned to a lane, but we can bypass this by clicking on the No Entry icon on the corresponding lane. When macro knobs are being sequenced in the lanes, you will notice they will move in time with the grid. If we want to bypass the effects, we can do so by selecting the power LED to the top left of the preset name, and if we want to scrap our preset altogether and return to the default patch, we can do so by clicking into the presets menu and selecting Load Default. In the macro section, you can also see the wet-dry fader, which we can choose to automate in the lanes. In addition to this, we can also see the options menu by clicking on the options button next to the NUXX logo. Once we open this, we will see 6 effect slots, each of which can host any of 30 effects types. Once an effect is selected, its parameters and mix level will appear. These can be right-clicked to be assigned to any of the macros, as can the wet-dry option at the bottom of the panel. Please note that not all the effects types use all 3 of the parameters, so don't be alarmed if some appear to be missing. Once we assign a macro, you will notice a matching color label appear on both the macro and assigned effect to help you remember what is assigned where. If you change your mind, you can also detach effects from a macro by right-clicking on the effect or on the macro it's assigned to. If multiple effects are assigned to one macro and you want to clear it, you can right-click on a macro knob and select Detach All. Now that your macro is set up, feel free to name it by double-clicking the pre-assigned name. When you do this, the assigned lane will also update its label. Now let's move on to using the sequencer and assigning lane data. Above the lanes, we can see several options that we can alter. The first is the lane presets. Selecting one of these will load a pre-existing preset into NUXX's lanes. If you're unhappy with these, you can edit them within the lanes themselves or simply reset to default by selecting the reset button or the default option within the menu. Below this, we have the option to randomize or lock the lanes. Randomizing changes all the lane data at random, and the lock button means that NUXX will render the current lane data as unchangeable and will keep the lane information even between different presets. Alongside the preset selection, we have the option to sync NUXX to the hosted DAW tempo, and to also change the UI size depending on preference. Rate, chance and swing affect the running speed and trigger rate of the data hosted within the sequencer. Rate affects the overall speed upon which the lanes operate and is a division of the timing of the master tempo. Swing adjusts the sequencer swing, and chance adjusts the note probability of sequence step playback. Let's move on and take a closer look at the lanes. To completely clear a lane, simply hold Alt and click within it. Right-clicking and dragging allows you to write data to a set line, or you can double-click a step to manually type the data percentage. Holding Shift while clicking and dragging up and down allows you to move all of the data in a lane simultaneously. If you hold Control and click, this will randomize the data. Each lane can be adjusted to a unique number of steps. Drag the bracket to adjust lane length, and click on the steps at the bottom if you wish to mute them. To change the lane speed, click the number below the lane and choose the speed you desire. NUXX currently contains 35 unipolar presets, which can be useful for inspiration or if you want to cycle through various settings in a hurry. To access these presets, simply click the burger menu in the lane you wish to edit. For more easy lane editing tools including randomize, flip, copy-paste, scales, ARPs and more, click the ellipsis icon, found to the side of the lane. At the top of the sequencer section, you may have noticed the global lane. By clicking on the steps on the global lane, we can mute and unmute all sequencer lane steps. We can also adjust the lane length by clicking and dragging the left and right brackets. To reset the global lane, hold Alt and click it. Similarly to the lanes, if you control and click the top bar, this will randomize the steps, which can help you create interesting patterns quickly. If you really like the settings you have created in the lanes, you can save your global sequencer lane to load it up again. And if you want to reset it, click the reset option to clear all the lanes. Navigating between presets is incredibly easy and can be done via the preset menu to the left-hand side of NUXX. To save a preset, simply select the menu and select Save as New. From here, you can designate a user folder to store your patch and even locate where it has been stored locally. To load a preset, you simply go back to the menu, navigate to your folder, which will be shown in yellow, and select the preset you wish to use. By clicking on the NUXX logo at the bottom of the unit, we have access to several additional settings. These include Click Step Numbers Meet Steps, which allows you to turn the lane steps on and off by clicking on them. Update macro knobs with step values. This visually moves the macros to the assigned sequencer steps. Default parameter lane ramp. When opening a default patch, this pre-assigns a set slope within the lanes. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial on NUXX. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you run into any issues or have any questions, feel free to email us at support@audiaire.com. Thank you very much for watching.